Good evening. Welcome to the Bobby Moore Stand. I'm Gary, he's Chris, and this is a show of disappointment like it is every Sunday after yet another miserable experience at the Athletic Stadium yesterday. So, how you doing, Chris?
Not great. I'm not going to lie. I can't lie at the moment. I'm feeling pretty flat with everything that's West Ham related, at least. Had a lovely Christmas, though. I hope you did too, and I hope all the viewers had a great Christmas as well with your families and loved ones. But yeah, that aside, football related, not good at all.
Good catch, because I'm feeling anything but festive, to be honest. After that yesterday, it's just been a wind up from start to finish. Yeah, my Christmas was good, but then football happened. I'm glad it didn't happen on Boxing Day, I suppose. We've got to do it again on Tuesday.
I know it's hard. I mean, it really is hard. And I spoke to a number of fans yesterday, and I think we're all in kind of unison and agreement on this. It's just a really tough watch at the moment, and just to experience this pretty much every single week, if not more at the moment, because obviously we know how congested the Christmas period is and how many games and fixtures we've got. I mean, it really takes the stuffing out of you. Excuse the pun, but it does. It really does.
So, look, on the show tonight, we look back at Fulham, obviously. Not a long look back. I'm not even going to do player ratings. It was that bad. Come on the screen, come back. No, oh, thank God for that. We need to discuss Nuno. I've kind of made my mind up on Nuno. Chris is wavering, but we'll see. We'll have that discussion. You know that we did the red card protests. I think people thought they were a protest in their own right. They're not. They're background music. You've got to have a heartbeat with a protest, right? You've got to carry it on. That's our way of saying it's carrying on. In between big events, who's going to arrange a big event every week? Ain't going to happen. So, and the reason we're doing it is to get rid of Sullivan. I'm going to, and I ain't even going to go around his, go on about his dodgy character, right? I'm going to go about the damage he's done to the club. And in the process of doing. So we'll discuss that red card protest and whatever else. And had quite a few fans criticising it, which has pissed me and a lot of other people off, to be honest. A lot of work goes into this stuff. There you go. Is what it is. They will flap their gums, won't they? Anything but support us.
It's easier to fucking criticise it and do nothing, and that's what annoys me when you see some of this stuff. And I've seen various people criticising it. I've had people personally coming up to me criticising it, saying, "What's the point? What's the point?" Well, if you do nothing, you achieve nothing. If you do something, you actually might get an outcome. So, exactly. I get the frustration.
Ask a question. What are you doing then? What are you doing, mate? What's your protest? What's your contribution? Usually, fuck all.
Exactly. Yeah. It is fuck all. It is fuck all. I know, and it's just that's what I'm saying. It's easy just to take that back seat and just and criticise. But look, you're talking about people that care about West Ham, that care about the future of West Ham. We're trying to do the right thing, get these people out of this football club because the club is dying. Every single game that I go to, it just feels like another piece of West Ham is being stripped away, and it's just it's intolerable anymore, my guy. I can't deal with it much longer. It's not good for your mental health, mate. I mean, it's really not. Some people use football as the release, when they've had a tough week. I mean, a lot of people do that. I do that. You probably do it. We all do. This is supposed to be enjoyable, but it's completely the opposite right now, which is why we have to fight.
So long ago. It stopped being enjoyable so long ago. I quite enjoy away games. I don't enjoy home games one little bit anymore.
No, same with me, mate. Away games, even when we lose, I still enjoy it because it's the experience, it's the journey, it's the talking to the other supporters, it's the atmosphere, something that's severely lacking at the London Stadium. London Stadium in itself, it's just tragic. I mean, I heard some people saying yesterday was good. I mean, it was all right in bouts, but seriously, if you want to compare that to a good atmosphere when you go to an away game, there is no comparison. Away games are the ones you want to go to. Honestly, home games are tragic, mate. They're absolutely tragic.
Let me just lay the bed. Sorry, before we start the show proper, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Going to bring you all those transfer rumours that probably won't end up happening over the next couple of weeks. We hope they do, obviously, but I'll explain why I don't think they will. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give the video a like, please. It really helps. Give us a hype if you've got any hypes left. And yeah, I'm going to try and make this not such an angry show, but at the moment I feel quite angry after yesterday. So it's going to be difficult. Let me just give you a brief outline. When Gold, Sullivan and Brady, the dynamic trio, arrived at our great club in 2010 to be the all-rescuing heroes. You know, we're sitting there as a club, I think we're in 120 million quid of a debt, right? We owned our ground. We owned our training pitches. We had the value of the players on the books. But we had 120 million of debt. 10 years, 15 years later, we have no ground. We don't own the training grounds. And we've got even more debt than that. And all the players that are on the books, apart from the odd ones like Bowen, money on most of them. So that's where they've taken us from and to, right? And I'm just going to explain, you know, when we get to that part, what that could cause, what damage that could cause if we go down, when we go down. So before then, let's talk about Fulham, Chris. I'm going to play your video. Give us a 2-minute break.
Oh, God. Yeah, go on.
Very good video again. You love doing these, don't you? You love doing these.
It's easy to do it, mate. I mean, it's dead easy to do it. So, yeah, it's all right. I'll remove myself off the screen because it's weird. But, yeah, I'll put it back on when you come back.
That's a good idea, actually. I'm going to do that as well. So enjoy 1 minute 45 of Chris's day of football.
Fulham at home for what was a must-win game, 18th in the league and nothing less than 3 points needed today. However, this was just another typical matchday experience at the Soulless Bowl. 2.5-hour journey to get to the ground courtesy of a ton of traffic on the M11 and then the 20-minute miserable walk to the stadium that we all detest. Throw in another 20-minute wait to get through security, the only stadium in the country where you have to queue up this long, and add on another 15 minutes to get through the turnstiles. And I'm already 5 minutes late for kickoff by this point. And then, of course, once in the stadium, another 5 minutes walking past a crap beer garden. As for the game itself, surprised to see Kilman playing alongside Tadibo. What the hell happened to Dinos? And as usual, no striker in the lineup. It's not like we need goals or anything like that, is it? Today was another opportunity to show our contempt for the board. Thousands of red cards held up by fans in the Bobby Moore lower in the 15th minute, which represents 15 years of BS from Brady and Sullivan. Genuinely nothing to talk about in the first half. Two crap teams. Second half did open up a lot more. We just couldn't seem to put the ball in the back of the net. Somerville and Bowen wasting really good opportunities. Finally, in the 56th minute, Nuno realised what 60-odd thousand fans already knew: get a striker on the pitch. And on came our only striker, a 33-year-old Callum Wilson. Once again, we did have a few opportunities, but didn't really threaten the keeper. Wilson had a couple, one which nearly took my head off. The tourist next to me decided to actually keep the ball. A couple more hopeful subs with Earthly and Souček made subtle difference, and then I had a quick opportunity to check out the inevitable signing of Adama Traore warming up for Fulham. And then in the 85th minute, a mistake by Ollie Scholes led to an opportunity for Fulham, which Jimenez took full advantage of. West Ham 0, Fulham 1, and we are well and truly in serious danger of going down. Personally, I can't see a way out of this. Realistically, I think we need 3 wins in the next 3 games. Now, bearing in mind we've only won 3 and 18 this season, I think the writing is firmly on the wall. Shout out to Sullivan and Brady for destroying West Ham United. Do everyone a favour, step aside, sell up, you are not wanted. BS out.
Very good video, Chris. Very good video. Yeah, I think you covered everything there, really. It was another selection without a striker. He doesn't seem to understand. It doesn't seem to interest him trying to look for a win, trying to go after a win and push a game. It doesn't seem to cross his mind, does it?
No, it doesn't. There's no logic behind why he doesn't play a striker. We've said it numerous times, over the last few weeks. I don't get it. Unless there's some underlying reason why we're not starting Callum Wilson. It's something that we're obviously not privy to, but I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get his in-game substitutions. They don't make a whole heap of sense to me at all. It's just, as I say, just nothing makes sense, Gary. Nothing makes sense at all.
Doesn't. I think he's doing the bare minimum that he can, actually. I think he's cost us points in loads of games so far. I think his lineup cost us points yesterday. We conceded the games. We rolled over against Liverpool and Man United. We should have gone for Villa, but didn't. We threw away a lead against Brighton and against Bournemouth, and we basically conceded with the lineup against Brentford and Leeds. And for those reasons, out of 13 games, that is a lot of damage in 13 games. For those reasons, I want Nuno to fuck off. How about you, Chris?
Honestly, at the moment, I'm not quite there with that. It's not because I rate him, by the way. It's not that at all. It's just that I think, for me, ultimately, this all stems at the very top, and it kind of comes down to one kind of key salient fact, and that is, do we want David Sullivan to go and appoint another useless manager again? Because that's ultimately what he's going to do if we do get rid of Nuno. So get rid of Nuno, does that solve the problem? And I suppose I'll look at it from another angle as well, is that Nuno has basically inherited a squad that isn't fit for purpose, in my opinion. There's no balance to that team whatsoever.
He's not fit for purpose either to get something out of that squad. I know the squad ain't up to much. It genuinely isn't. I mean, what we've got there in that squad is a whole load of average and some below average, with the odd very good player who are usually not on their game, like Bowen.
Yeah, look, I get what you're saying, and there are certainly things that Nuno could have done that seem obvious to us as supporters. Turn up to games week in, week out, or whether you watch it on telly, whatever you're doing. But like I say, we're not privy to everything that goes on behind the scenes with regards to players or anything like that. We don't know is the truth. We don't know. We don't know why he's not playing Callum Wilson. We don't know why he's dropped Mavropanos all of a sudden when it appeared that it was working when he was playing alongside Todibo. I don't understand any of this stuff. I don't. But I do believe that he has inherited a squad that is not fit for purpose. There's no balance into it. There's no threat from an attacking perspective either. Aside from Callum Wilson, right, we have no strikers. We're talking about a 33-year-old striker, like I said in that little mini vlog I did. A 33-year-old striker, our only first-team striker, realistically. And I'm not including Callum Marshall for the reason is that he's a youth player. And typically speaking, in any other scenario, he wouldn't be in our squad. It's purely down to the fact by default that we've got one striker, mate. That's what it comes down to. So I think, going on about Nuno, my opinion is that I just don't think much is going to change with that squad of players. So the key is to invest and bring in more players, because if we don't, well, I mean, I think we're going to go down anyway. I'm going to be honest. I do think we're going to go down anyway. But I'm
going to explain why we're not going to buy players unless Sullivan puts his own money in. I'll explain that very soon.
Which is what I'm saying. And so the one thing that I'm clinging hope to is that we do have, that we will sign players. That's the only thing I'm clinging hope to, because with this squad of players, we're going down. Make no mistake about it. We will go down. So that's it. So I'm thinking, if we bring in another manager, is it going to make a difference? That's going to cost more money to bring another manager in. It's going to cost more money to get rid of Nuno. Who are we going to bring in? Is it going to be the right type of individual that can take West Ham forward? I doubt it. I don't know who's available anyway, Gar, and we're certainly not. And we know we're not going to go and bring in a manager that is not out of contract. I mean, sorry,
hang on, I'm pulling my ear out. I've got my earpiece in. Fucking hell. Hold on. I've got me
celebrating past successes there. Yeah, celebrating past successes there, Gar. I like it.
Because, frankly, since Prague, all it's been is downhill. It's like we've served the penance for winning a little bit of silverware after fucking all those years. Right? Why are we not allowed a little tiny bit of joy?
Yeah, well, exactly that. And when I look at the other teams around us, Gal, they're attacking other teams that you would consider to be superior to them. I mean, look, I'll give an example, right? You look at Leeds United. Leeds United were losing games constantly. They were not getting points. They were below us at a point, right? Now they're above us. Okay, I watched them today, and I've watched them in numerous games over the last couple of weeks as well. When they went 2 down the City, they thought, you know what, fuck it, we're going to stick 2 up front, and they kind of pretty much went almost like a gung-ho approach. And this is the thing that I kind of admire about some of those teams that we're competing against in the lower reaches of the Premier League, is that they're giving it a good go. They are trying to attack teams. So I think our best form of defence is to attack. We know what our defence is about, which is why, for me, our priority, and I know it's obvious that we need to sign a striker, but not just one. I think we need to bring in a whole heap of attacking players that can go out there and we can just gung-ho and fucking try and attack teams, because that is absolutely, it's imperative that we do that. Because I just, look, bring another defender, is that going to solve the problem? That we need to bring in attacking players, Gal. We do.
Well, no. What worries me, Chris, is if we bring in another defender, he's going to suddenly. I mean, look what he's done. Look what he's done with. We've lost 2 of our first choice defenders, and yet he goes into the next game with a kid and someone that was relegated. No, not relegated. He played well, right? But and the kid played well as well. Skulls, until a mistake, he played well. Let's not dress it up. But you don't put those 2 into perilous positions by basically inviting another team on. And that's what we did. Yeah, you've got to have another idea in your tool bag, and it's got to be. I mean, when they invented the beautiful game of football, do you think it was about stopping goals, just defending for fucking 90 minutes?
Which is my point, though, Garrett. Which is my point, though, mate. Is that, do you think, playing purely devil's advocate here, that we've actually got the players that can go out and attack teams? Because I don't think that we do. I think we've got a bang out of form captain in Jared Bowen. I think Somerville has no end product. And I think we've got an old striker. That's all we've got right now.
I think you're right, but I think the teams we're playing against at the moment are there for the taking, as we proved with Brighton when we went down there. You bring Callum Wilson on, he caused havoc, right? In that moment. But the thing is, you can't wait until your team have been running around up and down the pitch for, what was it? When did he come on? 65 minutes yesterday, was it? Or 60?
I think it was like 56 minutes, actually.
Was
so
it?
it was a little bit earlier than usual. Yeah, a little bit earlier than it usually is, yeah.
And those players have been, they were heavy-legged already, right? And then, so what that means is you're resting your game plan on Callum Wilson being able to out-sprint their defenders.
Yeah, I know.
And the same went for Jared Bowen in the first half, because the only idea we had was to pick a through ball and play Jared Bowen in one-on-one against the keeper. Both times, they were half chances. He got caught offside, didn't he, Jared? Offside. And
countless times yesterday, mate. We were offside so many times yesterday. It was ridiculous. Can't time our runs. And also, when you talk about Callum Wilson, the whole thing around pace, right, bringing him on to potentially cause problems for the centre halves. Well, look, I think he's a clever centre forward, right? His movement, everything else. He's a good finisher. We know that.
In the box, though, Chris. In the box.
Exactly. And you look at the chances that he got, right? I mean, he's pretty much in a foot race, against the other defenders. And then what happens? Consequently, he takes 2 shots from pretty far out. Apart from the one that he screwed wide of the post. He literally knew that he couldn't outpace a defender. So he takes a shot from, I don't know where it was. Maybe it was the outside of the area or just inside the area. I can't recall. Yeah. But you think if we had someone with a little bit of pace, a little bit younger, he'd be running a little bit further forward that ball, probably being a bit more composed. Maybe a Callum Wilson of 5 years ago, he would have easily scored that goal. He would have gone a little bit further, closer to the goal and taken a shot.
You think so? But having said that, Callum Wilson's never really been one of those players, has he? To run half the length of the pitch and slam it in the back of the net.
No, he hasn't. But he wasn't. He wasn't. He wasn't. You're right. But I think you could see that he just hasn't got that about him. I mean, I think he would have been able to put those chances away yesterday. But then also, you've got to bear in mind that the geezer's not getting much game time right now anyway. So he's not going to be particularly he's not going to be sharp, is he? He's not going to be sharp. If you're not getting minutes on the pitch, you ain't going to be sharp. He needs a run of games where he's actually starting games. When he starts scoring, which he was scoring goals, but then he's gone out of the team and he's probably losing a bit of that sharpness as well. So, again, there's no logic, but I've got to say that I do think that, and I don't want to, it's not defending Nuno, right? But I'm sick and tired of us digging out the managers all the time because I think it just comes from the top. And I don't trust Sullivan to go and appoint another manager, which is why at this moment in time, I think let's see how the next few weeks kind of, transpire. If we can bring in some players that can help Nuno, that are Nuno's types of players, that maybe we can go a bit more attacking, then I'm all in for that. But
you've just contradicted yourself by saying he's going to bring in some players that are going to make us a little bit more attacking. He doesn't attack.
Well, I know that's typically his style of football. I know he's
and Sullivan's making the signings. Sullivan has still kept himself as the director of football, making all decisions. So his mate, whose name I forget, he's not going to be bringing the players in. Sorry,
yeah, Mendes. You're talking about
Mendes. He's not going to be bringing the players in, and so that is going to piss him off. And all the excuses are coming out already about, if we spend, we're going to breach PSR. Well, that ain't an if. That's a we will.
I could not care less about PSR, and I don't think the club should worry about it either, because actually getting relegated is going to hit us more financially than it will with PSR. I think we need to go out and we need to spend money, but I just don't trust. In truth, I don't trust the board to do it, but. I don't know. I'm just hoping, Gary, that is what I'm putting all my hopes to right now in terms of us being able to stay up.
I think we need more than a couple of players. I think we need more than a couple of players.
Oh, we do.
Chris.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Yeah,
we do. Yeah, we do. I mean, well, look. I mean, it's frightening. I mean, it's frightening. Like, so we're now 5 points off of safety, 5 points off of Forest, and we're now 7 points off of Leeds. And I think 9 points off of Bournemouth. Like that's a big gap. I mean, that is a big gap, particularly when you take into consideration, like I said in that video just now, 3 wins in 18 games so far this season. Realistically, we need to get 7 points out of the next 3 games. I said 3 wins out of the next 3 games. I can't see that happening. And if that doesn't happen, we said a number of weeks ago that when you get to the half-season point, you need to be in or around the 20-point mark, because typically we always say that 40 to 42 points is the magic points total you need to stay up. We're nowhere near that right now. We're on 13 points. So the way things stand right now, if we do not, and look, we said this before the Fulham game, that was a must-win game for us. But if we do not get anything out of Brighton, and when I say get anything, I'm talking 3 points. I think we're down.
We've got 3 games in 7 days. We need 7 points out of those 3 games. Brighton, Wolves, and Forest, don't we? And if we just go and blow it in game 1 against Brighton, it's kind of done already.
I know that. I just want to bring up this comment here, right? I'm just looking here, saying, Gary, you're right about Chris. Don't know what's the matter with him. Chris is saying everything for Nuno to be sacked. Then wants to wait a month for Nuno and his new players to get it right. Well, no, I didn't say that specifically, right? What I'm saying here is that I don't trust the board to appoint another manager that happens to be better than Nuno.
Either.
That's the issue that I've got. I'm not saying I don't think that Nuno is the answer, by the way, but I don't necessarily think that David Sullivan is the answer to go and bring in another manager that is suddenly going to completely turn our fortunes around. That's the issue. Yeah. That's the dilemma that I've got. So it's not like I'm not raving about Nuno. How can I?
No,
I'd be mental if I was.
He's the opposite of that. He's not particularly feeling Nuno, right? I'm not either.
Yeah.
Fucking,
I'm not feeling it. It's rubbish. I can't stand watching this. It's awful. I know. We like between us, we've been to every single game this season, Gal, and it's awful to watch this. It's absolutely awful to watch it. I'm not. But I'm backing Nuno because he's the manager, and whilst we've got a manager in charge, I've always got to back him. As fans, we've got to collectively get behind the manager. We have to every single week, regardless of whether we think he's right or wrong. No, I mean, listen, we can all
in the ground. I think in the ground we do definitely.
This is what I'm saying. In the ground we do. Maybe we can discuss outside of that. But you know, from my perspective, I just don't trust Sullivan, Gal. I don't trust Sullivan to go out and bring in another manager that is better than Nuno and he's going to turn it all around for us. I don't.
Well, Nuno is the third in a line of three managers who have got progressively worse with each appointment. He is officially the worst manager we've ever had, this one.
Yeah, but, okay, I get what you're saying.
Points per game below 1.
Yeah, and that you're basing that over 13 games, yeah? So I get it, but I think that's a pretty shitty stat to base it on because you've got to base it on a longer period of time, in my opinion.
No, but you've had lots of winnable games in that list.
Yeah, we have.
Like the ones I read out earlier. Lots of winnable games. There's been one or two that we've managed to win. Newcastle we didn't expect to win, and Burnley we expected to win. So the one game that's gone the way we thought it would go was Burnley.
Yeah, and again, I agree with everything you're saying, okay? And I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But it is over 13 games. So if you look from another angle, let's say we win the next two games, and that point per game ratio increases quite a decent amount, right? So I think it's about gaining a perspective on this.
Can you not Google shit like this because it tells you nonsense? I'll read. I'll tell you what isn't nonsense in a minute. Yeah. Google says David Sullivan's a great football owner. Fucking fantastic. Longest run in the Premier League ever. And he left the porn industry 20 years ago. Yeah. Right. So what else? Yeah, look. I don't like the geezer.
Sorry, mate. I think you were cutting out. I think you were cutting out there.
Do I? Oh, am I? Do I think that
it might be
another
mate.
appointment right? You're stuttering, Chris. Is it me or is it you?
No, it's probably me, mate. Let me come in and out. You crack on, yeah. Give me a minute, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard West Ham United FC are thinking about Harry Redknapp until the end of the season. I'm sure if he gets desperate, he'll try and pull any old rabbit out of the hat. Talking to Harry, I'm not particularly a Harry lover as a bloke, but he was a decent. He was a decent manager for us. It was a good period with him in charge for sure. Whether he's gone past that or not now, I don't know. Whether he can turn what we've got into a football team, I don't know. He'd need to be a magician. One thing I can say, though, is we'd have more of a chance facing the right end of the pitch, you know, and getting players up and actually trying to attack the other team and look for a winner. I don't know who's going to score the winner. We ain't got a fucking striker. But you know, you're talking about Bilic. Bilic, he'd get a great reception. It'd be a marvellous atmosphere in there for a couple of games until we start losing. Because you saw what happens when you give Bilic a genius in Payet and a team of good players around him. He can turn that into a fucking good team. The next season, you saw what happens when you give Bilic a load of average. So am I optimistic that he could turn this around? No, not without investment, significant investment. Same goes for Harry. I don't think Harry's a magician. I think he'll do the right thing and try to play our attacking players in attacking ways, and we might score a few more goals. But, what's this say? But do I think he can turn a team of average players into great ones in what's left of the season? No, I don't. Gio from Amherst Chat texted Harry, who told him that he's had more chance of getting the West Ham job than he did right now. That he had told him that he had more chance of getting the West Ham job than he did right now.
I'm not sure I get that.
Told Gio had more chance of getting the West Ham job.
Ah, right, yeah. Yeah, I laughed at that one. I
think that's just convenient. It's a press filler. It's a convenient media story to take the shine off of, oh, we might get Bilic, oh, we might get Redknapp, oh, we might sign Neymar, oh, we might sign this person, we might sign that player. I think this stuff's just put out there to distract people, to stop you looking at the fucking problem. And the problem is that little tit, David Sullivan, and his incompetent running of this football club together with Baroness Karen. So let me just continue where I was earlier, and I'm going to keep this really short, right? Because I know these things can go on fucking ages, bore you to tears, right? So I won't. Right. Let's start from the beginning. I already told you, when they turned up, we were in debt, but we own the ground, we own the training grounds. Now, 15 years later, we don't own the ground, we don't own the training ground, but we're even more in debt. So does that in itself tell you about good ownership? Well, this summer, we took a big loan from a company that nearly saw an end to Everton last year, about 200 million, we believe, to pay off payments that were due for players that we had signed. So that was earlier in the summer. We also had to repay an overdraft to Barclays, and we did that just before the deadline. We then reinstated the overdraft. We also remortgaged the training facilities, remortgaged, as in they'd gone up in value. So we took a mortgage out for that new value, that little delta, that whatever it was, whatever they grew in values, right? We also took loans against all of our future Premier League earnings for next season, and every single transfer fee we were owed in the future, we took loans against it so we could have the cash now. So not only have we got no money, we've got no money coming either. If we go down, unless Sullivan and his mates, Kretinsky, whose absence, silence personified in the boardroom, and the Golds, who follow Karen Brady around, it seems, Trip Smith and the rest of the merry gang of incompetence, they just sit there and watch, as Gonzo Shet said, he rearranges the deck chairs on the Titanic and we just sink out of sight. Right? Because we go down, we're fucked. Unless him and his mates in the boardroom put their hand in their pocket. And that's what I'm saying at the moment. We ain't got any money. The only way we'll have money is if him and the shareholders put their hands in their pocket. That's the only way you get money into this club. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. Yeah, I do.
And the thing is, right, Chris, if anyone is not angry about this shit, why are you not angry about it? I just don't get it. People just don't take an interest. Oh, yeah, I read a comment on Twitter yesterday. Oh, yeah, we'll have a spend up in the transfer window. What?
No,
With what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just living in hope. You know, I can see some geezer in the chat slagging me off saying I don't have a clue about Nuno or whatever. Do you know what? I couldn't give a toss. I couldn't give a toss what you're saying, mate. I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is the fact that I do go to pretty much every game. Yeah. I've got an opinion. You know, I think look, we've all got an opinion.
It's as valid as yours, geezer in the chat, whoever you are.
We've all got an opinion, yeah. But I think what it comes down to is the fact that, like I said already, numerous fucking times, I don't rate Nuno, but I don't rate Sullivan even more. To actually bring in a better replacement. That's what it comes down to. Okay, that is purely it. So yeah, that's it really, mate. But no, everything you said, I totally agree with you. I just cannot see a way out of this mess, Gal. Can't see a way out of this now. I really, really can't. I mean, even if we beat Brighton, you know, we're suddenly looking at other teams' performances. I mean, I'm watching other teams more than I ever have done before because I'm relying on them to lose games. But, you know, from what I'm noticing on Sky and Telly and everything else right now is that they're actually playing pretty good. At least they're giving a good fist of it. You know, we seem to be the only team that won't bother. We don't seem to bother attacking teams. It's almost as if to say, right, what we'll do is we'll hold out for a point today. We'll hold out for a draw. It's like every game we're playing for a fucking draw. That ain't going to get us anywhere. It's not going to get us anywhere. We need goals. We need to attack teams, which hence the reason goes down to the simple fact of the matter is that we do need to go out and bring in more attacking players and defensive players because we have none. You know, it's quite clear that Nuno does not rate Luis Guilherme. The geezer's not even anywhere close to the bench right now. You know, he doesn't rate him. So what other options do we have apart from Callum Wilson? It's really worrying, mate. It's really, really worrying.
If this were true, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just going to assume it isn't BNNNMM 3744 because he kind of orchestrated his sacking at Forest by refusing to play the players that the new director of football had brought in. And they started losing, and then the Mad Greek smashed up a few tellies and fired him. So I don't know whether he's lost his confidence. He comes across a very meek, laid-back individual, which I found, a lot with Potter I found initially, and Lopetegui, I found their initial, until the stress and the tension of the job started getting applied, I found their initial interviews really pleasant, and it gave me a little bit of hope. Same with him, same with this geezer. But now his laid-back approach just comes across as laid-back. It's like he needs a kick up the arse.
I mean, it's a funny one because, I mean, I know Forest supporters, Wolves supporters that say really good stuff about him. They do say good stuff about him, but that's typically when he's been backed and he's been able to bring in his type of football player. I know that he is a low block manager, and I hate that fucking phrase, but he is a defensive-minded manager. But, there is one common factor here. If you look over the course of the last, 18 months or whatever, since, I don't know how long it's been since David Moyes left now. I can't remember. All three managers have failed miserably. Who appointed them? David Sullivan, Karen Brady. All comes back to them. All comes back to them. So does anyone really believe that if we do get rid of Nuno, we're suddenly going to bring in, a replacement that is going to be so much better than what we've actually got or what we've had over the last, year and a half, 2 years?
No,
because I'm not.
Because of where we shop. We can only buy unemployed, failed managers.
Yeah, Poundland, mate. That's what we're doing. Poundland managers is what we're getting right now. People that, well, not even that, they're free.
We can't. The one we should have had, obviously, after Prague was Silva from the guy who beat us again yesterday from Fulham. But he didn't want to be known as a bad guy in the media, so he kept Moyes on for another year. Even when we signed, I think Lopetegui, or was it, I can't remember which one it was, but Kretinsky was getting involved and saying, sign Silva. He wanted Silva.
Yeah.
Right? But Sullivan, oh no, I know best. I'll bring in fucking Lopetegui. Karen chose Potter, didn't she? Because she's such a great fucking judge of a football manager. She loves Steve Bruce, enough said. And then how we ended up with this geezer, he was literally, at the time, looking around seeing who's unemployed, because that's the only market you could look at, right? Looking around seeing who's unemployed, he was literally the best name out there, right? But I didn't think anyone could be as negative as this. He makes David Moyes look like Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola's exciting uncle.
Hold up 2 seconds, Gal. Yeah, I need to bring up this comment here because this is starting to wind me up now, right? So I've got to call it out. David Granger, please do not take this the wrong way, but going home and away does not make you more educated on the club than anyone else in this chat. I didn't say it does. I never said that. I never said that, right? I said we're all entitled to opinions. I'm entitled to opinion. You're entitled to opinion. Doesn't mean you're right and I'm wrong. It doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong. That's the whole basis of why we have these chats. Okay, it's a discussion, right? So how can look? You can go back to previous videos that we've said certain things, right? It's been right. Sometimes it's been wrong. Sometimes the chat's been right. Sometimes they've been wrong. That is that is what
flag paper between us at the moment, right? I'm saying Nuno out. Chris is saying not Nuno out because I don't trust Sullivan to get a better manager in.
Yeah, exactly.
If paper.
Yeah, well, I don't. Like I said, I don't know how many times I have to fucking say it. I don't rate him. I don't rate Nuno at the moment. Of course, I don't. I'd be mental to rate him, but I don't trust Sullivan. So yeah, I'm going to fucking put a pin on that now because I've said what I've thought. And if people still want to debate in the chat, then you go ahead and do that. But I've already said quite clearly that I do not rate him. Right? I do not rate him. But above and beyond, I do not rate fucking David Sullivan. He's the cause for all of this mess right now. So I think that is the one common thing that we should all be in agreement with.
People focusing on Ollie Scholes yesterday, who ran his legs off for 84 minutes, then made an unfortunate mistake, a fucking miss kick. Poor kid. But then just blaming the defeat on him. Why were we 0-0 with Fulham after 84 minutes? How about that?
All right, fair enough, David. I know you might not be talking about me, but I'm just saying in general. In general.
Yeah, sorry. Look,
I don't mean any harm by any of this stuff, mate. I don't. It's very frustrating sometimes when people just because we have this chat popping up on the side and it's pinging. Yeah. I can see stuff going on. It's hard to keep track of it sometimes. It really is.
Sometimes you lose context.
Yeah,
of what's saying. I've actually had a go at people in here before, and then realised I shouldn't have had a go at them.
you have to
feel like a right fucking mug.
Yeah. But no, you go back to Ollie Scholes. I actually feel sorry for the kid, and this is one thing that again winds me up because I saw this on social media. So people digging him out. I mean, yes, he made a mistake. He's a kid that comes from our academy that cares about West Ham. You could see how it affected him after the game. The kid's crying on the pitch.
Broke his heart.
Yeah, and by the way, where is Jared Bowen looking after him as a captain of the club?
As Shane said here. Oh, Shane, his comments are moving too quick. Yeah. he didn't consult Ollie. The one that did was KWP, stayed with him all the way until he walked off the pitch.
I know. Yeah, I noticed that. It's awful, really, because to see a kid go through that, it can either make or break you. It depends on your character. It really can do. You know, you've seen amazing, talented youngsters that get impacted by, you know, certain moments that they may have made a mistake and suddenly their career's gone downhill. I think you've got to be very, very careful with this. And as fans, we can't start getting on his back. He's a youngster. He cares about, he probably cares more. I don't think he cares more about West Ham than I'm telling you, most of the players do in that first team right now.
Yeah.
He's got a connection to West Ham. He came through the system.
Probably been there since he was 8, 7.
Exactly.
Like that, right?
And he had a decent game yesterday. He had a good game.
A very good game. After having a bad one last week, he's come back and put in a performance. And then I think that was due to tiredness, what he did at the end there, I've got to say, because poor kid ran his legs off.
But it's like something I read earlier. It's like an apprenticeship, you know, when these kids come through. You can't expect that they're going to hit the ground running, you know, not make any mistakes. Look at Declan Rice made mistakes. Look at Rio Ferdinand make mistakes, right? All of these players make mistakes when they come through, and it's how they learn and how they become the players that they eventually become, like Declan Rice, like Rio Ferdinand, right? And I'm not comparing him to them, but I'm comparing him to the fact that he's a youngster that's come through our academy. And I think it's about having that kind of perspective and digging out youngsters that come from our academy is just, I think it's disgusting, if I'm being dead straight. I really do.
I really hate it, you know. It is disgusting. There's no other word for it. And Bowen, for God's sake, Jared, come on, mate. This is your job.
Yeah.
This is your job. Go and look after the youngsters. Don't lay there feeling sorry for yourself. Well, he showed more captain's ability yesterday. I mean, what about that last week? I think he got booked for arguing with a referee last week, Jared, didn't he? And I thought, well, that's more like it. You're arguing with a referee. Then he just disappeared from view for the rest of the game.
Like, again, I mean, it's not about slagging players off because I don't want to be doing that, but I can't help but say the truth. And the truth for me is that Jared Bowen isn't the captain, and I think it's impacted his game. And I think you can see his form tailoring off so much. Can I just tell you, those handful of senior players that we've got in that team, like Wilson, who needs to be on the pitch for this reason, like Bowen, like Paqueta, like who else we've got that's a little bit older? I suppose you could say Kilman. You know, I mean, Tadebo's still a youngster, isn't he? And KWP's an older guy as well, right? So those senior players, it's really important that those senior players look after the midfield that's made up out of 21-year-olds. Yeah. It's made up out of fucking, you know, and then you've got the other one as well, little Jimmy over on the wing, who ain't having a very good time at the moment, is he? You know, these are all youngsters. They need an arm around them. They need to be guided. But it seems like they're on their own out there. And you're absolutely right. One thing that I noticed yesterday, actually, is one particular moment, and we've discussed this on numerous occasions about the lack of leadership within our team. There was one particular moment yesterday when a cross came in. It was an easy one to clear, right? But Kilman went out and he headed it out. Just behind him was Ollie Scarles, and I think he was getting ready to head it out as well. But there was no communication, right? There was no like Kilman shouting out, "That's mine." You know, it's little things like that. There's no. I mean, honestly, there's like I can't hear anyone talking.
Kilman reminds me of upsetting what we did to Tompkins, where he used to put all the fucking difficult attackers on Tompkins.
Yeah. It's a weird one because, you know, when you like that, obviously I call it the Soulless Bowl. We all call it the Soulless Bowl, right? But one of the benefits that you get of the Soulless Bowl is you can actually hear what's going on the pitch. You can actually hear the players talking sometimes. That's how bad our atmosphere is, right? And I can tell you now, right? Seriously, I'll sit like 2 rows to the front. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything from those players talking. And honestly, nothing at all. Very rarely.
This is true. He popped his shoulder, didn't he, last week?
Yeah, he did. I think he was touch and go, weren't he, for the game yesterday? Yeah, he was.
So he was only barely fit. But these ignorant gits who just fucking call out a kid like that, they can never have played a sport in their life. And they're just doing it to either be, you know, I don't know, be the popular kid, or they just get a kick out of having a dig at someone.
Yeah.
Who's probably got more money than they'll ever have.
Yeah, shout out to Martin here as well, right? People blame his skulls when Paqueta lost the ball 9 times in one half. Yeah, yes, absolutely. But it's not, that's just one game, right? I mean, you look at the other games, the other week when Paqueta made a mistake and it led to a goal. I mean, Christ, you know, the reality is Skulls made one mistake yesterday, right? One key mistake that led to a goal. But what about the players at the other end of the pitch that are missing chances, like Callum Wilson, like Jared Bowen? I mean,
Jared Bowen, that was a sitter for Jared Bowen there. You know, the pullback from Magassa, he's got to put that in the back of the net. Yeah. Barney speaks only the truth. Most in this chat are passionate about our club and love West Ham. We must be, for fuck's sake, watching these two on a Sunday night. Very true, Barney. Well said. We do. Yeah, you're right. No, you're a lovely lot in the chat. And, you know, look, This is, like I said, that's why I'm wearing the Prague thing, because I honestly believe, apart from a couple of league games, that was the last decent little period of happiness we had. Right? It's a long time ago now.
Yeah, I mean, we had the odd European game, didn't we, after Prague, I think, but you know, Leverkusen and things like that. But overall, it's just dead, mate. I mean, I put a video on my TikTok yesterday of just like a typical kind of atmosphere at West Ham, right? And I just scrolled around the ground for like 5 or 6 seconds, and honestly, you just look at the faces of the fans, you listen to the noise or the lack of noise. That is what we experience every single week. It's awful. I mean, it really, really, really is awful. And also, you know, you got to also take into consideration how that probably impacts the players, because we know it's that toxic atmosphere. It's like it's on a knife edge right now. It really is. One player makes a mistake, it all goes a bit toxic right now. You know, it does. So it's not a great environment for the players to be in. I mean, conversely, you'd almost want it to go back to an empty fucking stadium, because then I reckon the players would be performing a lot better like they did during COVID, you know.
I'm watching the clock, Chris, again. Like I found myself doing when Moyes was here, you know, when the game was really dull. Yesterday, in that first half, I've got to be honest, I was sitting there in the posh seats with Paul. I'm sitting there watching the game. I kept looking up at the clock, thinking, fucking hell, only 15 minutes gone. It's a long 15 minutes.
You know, it's really interesting you said that, because I did exactly the same thing, and I have been doing the same thing recently. But yesterday in particular, I was bored again, as per usual, looking at the clock, and I was thinking, you know, I could do get a break. I could do just getting outside and just not watching this, because it's the least enjoyable thing of my day when I go to a football match. In truth, it actually is. I remember the days when I used to look at the clock and think, shit, I wish there was another 10 more minutes on, you know, in the first. I wish we had another 15 more minutes in the, you know, in the first half. But now I'm like, oh god, we've got another 15 minutes left to watch of this crap. It's mad. Like it's crazy, isn't it? Like how we've how our mindset has changed for watching this dross.
Yeah, we'll have McKenna over Nuno, Gary and Chris. What you wonderful gentlemen. I don't know about that. I've been pissed with Nuno. He's making, honestly, it's the mistakes. It's the mistakes. I mean, you know, like you can forgive one bad selection because he's new at the club, but then he does the same thing in the following game. You're thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He literally gave away 2 games against rivals.
By the way, Dave Walker, I see you in the chat saying Scholes made more than one mistake. Chris, come on. I know he did, but I said one key mistake. Go back to I said literally one key mistake that led to a goal.
He played really well. Literally everyone in that defence makes mistakes at the moment.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, they do. I mean, seriously,
negatively and sitting back is a dumb idea. It's a really dumb idea.
Yeah, it is, mate.
Yeah. But yes, let's show you something to piss you off. Yeah. Not that you need to be pissed off, but like you people out there in the audience, let me show you a couple of things to piss you off. Right. Firstly, this I think is terrible. This is a picture of the tifo, the Billy Bonds tifo, just bundled up behind the board. Don't anything if not respectful, that club. A little picture. We went out yesterday and gave these cards out. Honestly, there were so many nice people. So many nice people going mad. So we actually went into your beer garden, Chris's beer garden. And there was quite a few nice people in there before the game, actually. He gave out loads of them. It went pretty well. I mean, look, it was well noticeable from where I was. Yeah. But again, you know what these red cards are, right? What they are is they're a successor to the black balloons. In other words, they're just they're a heartbeat protest. They're showing that the protest goes on. Week in, week out, every game, we're still going. And while we plan our next event, a surprise event, whatever it is, yeah?
Yeah.
Again, we've got lots in store, but you've got to bear in mind, big events like that March, they take weeks or months to organise and fund and everything else. So you can imagine, you can't just turn up with a load of people and walk down Stratford High Street. That's not allowed. You need everyone bought into it, right? So just got to be patient with us. And the people, like the geezer in glasses who I saw on YouTube last night in sunglasses in the evening, never a good look, saying, oh, as for Hammers United, they've got to try harder. It's like, fuck off. You know, it's like, get involved and you can have maybe you can comment on it. But if you're going to just sit there, twiddle your fingers and twiddle your thumbs and fucking throw nonsense at people, these are the same people who were criticising every single thing that Hammers United tried to do. It doesn't matter what shape they do it, they'll have a go at it. Or if it's any good, like the march, they'll go strangely quiet.
Yeah, that's funny. That I don't get. Again, I don't understand why people want to dig that out. I mean, the amount of work that those guys do, it's unreal. It really is so hard to coordinate. Honestly, it really, really is. And like, I see the amount of stuff. I'm in groups with you, Gary, and I see the amount of stuff people are doing. It takes a lot of planning. It's so much planning. Their own time they're doing this. They're not doing this. They're doing this out of their love for West Ham United. Let's get it straight. It's easy to go on camera and start fucking criticizing what these guys are doing. It really annoys me, that does, because seriously, they're doing a hell of a lot more than whoever it is that's slagging West Ham.
Well, let me just tell you what happened. We met. Quite a few of us met. Went into the supporters club yesterday morning. About, I don't know. I think it was about 12:30, 12:45, something like that. Chris Mills was in there. Paul Christmas from Supporters Club. Loads of different people in there, right? Lovely people in there. It's turned into quite a good place, that Supporters Club again. And Paul Colburn was there, and Andy Payne, obviously, and Andy M as well, and Andy McConnell. And we're having a chat, and then it's a case of getting the cards, getting the little cards across the, we all had to get people to help getting the cards to stadium, giving them out and all that kind of stuff. It was a really long day. And the result was a good few thousand of those cards got held up when we asked them to get held up. And there was a bit of singing to accompany it as well, but that will change. We want it so as, unlike the balloons that kind of, they worked to an extent, but they didn't really work at home. But they worked occasionally away, but especially in the winter months when you got people wearing dark clothes, if you use black balloons, it ain't going to show up very well, is it? Right? So we just try something a little bit new as that heartbeat protest. That's it. And then all that effort that went into it yesterday, a huge amount of effort building up into it as well and talking about it and everything else. So it ain't just what you do on the day. And then you get some fucking idiot go on YouTube in his little round dark glasses and say, Emma's United have got to up their game, haven't they? Not good enough. Fuck off. Anyway.
I mean, I've not seen that, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's no good. That's no good. I mean, it's a bit disrespectful because these guys, as I said already,
it's awful. Don't have a go at your own fans like that. People who put in the effort, unlike you.
Yeah, no, I hear you, mate. Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen that video or whatever, but yeah, that's not on. It isn't on at all. No. And I've got to apologise to you as well, mate, because I was going to try and help you yesterday, but I got stuck in traffic. It took me 2.5 hours to get to the fucking ground. It was just unbelievable.
Troubles getting there.
It's honestly, mate, all of that effort. I'm not saying I'm the only one. There's a lot of people, but we make that effort to get down to that ground, and that. I think that video kind of summarised. Honestly, that's exactly what we all go through every single game. That drive or whatever, the train to the ground, the long 20-minute walk to the stadium, the 20-minute walk outside, through security,
like that.
15 minutes trying to get through the turnstiles, all of this nonsense. And you get some of those idiots, by the way, and I will call them idiots because they are idiots. You've got to call it for what it is. They're so pedantic when you get right to the front of security. They're like, no, just hold your hands up a little bit higher. They're trying to get into every. Whereas you get some people that just kind of like tap, done, move on. But some of the geezers take their jobs way too seriously. It's like, seriously, mate, have you ever been to a football game before? Just let us through. Seriously, it's just beyond me, mate. It really is, and it just winds me up because. Once again, I've missed, and I got there with enough time, I'd like to think, before the start of the game, but I still ended up getting to the ground 5 minutes later. It's ridiculous. We are the only ground in the country, like I said on that video, we're the only ground in the country where it takes that long to get through security and to get through the turns. It's madness. Absolute madness. I'm sick and tired of it. What are they trying to find? What are they trying to find? Half a pound of Semtex strapped to my fucking foot. I don't know what they're looking for. It's ridiculous.
They don't even try to find anything, do they? They just go over you with their metal detector, don't they?
Absolute jobs worths. Honestly, they most of them are. And I know they get some of these people. I'm not going to call them all idiots, but some of them are. Some of them genuinely are idiots.
But thanks to Paul Colburn, Andy, and everybody else, Andy McConnell, and everybody who organised this. But thanks to Gavin and Jack for coming down yesterday to help, and Paul and as well, my cousin. Ryan was there as well. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah.
Oh, actually, one thing actually to mention, right? So I had loads of people messaging me about where can they get a red card from, and I think this is important that we address this, right? Because I know yesterday you went beer garden and everything else. Next game against Brighton, what's the plan, and where can people actually get one of these?
we'll let you know, but you can go to the supporters club. You will get one, right? You know where supporters club is? It's just behind the swimming pool. You can definitely get one there. There will be cards there. However, they will be. We'll make sure there's plenty of cards around. But what you should do, make your own card. Order some lovely big A4 sheets of red paper. Because one thing we learned yesterday, I think, is I think big red cards come out well. A few people in the bar up there had made their own. That was quite good.
Yeah, there was actually, to be fair, the people in front of me, they all had they're holding up these red cards. And I was like, what they got? I ain't got one of those. But then I looked at the shape of them, they're a bit wonky, so I knew they cut them out themselves, bless them, But people were doing that. It's not hard to do that. And the funny thing about it is, Gav, there's you with like 1,000 odd of these red cards, and I didn't get a chance to see you before the game yesterday. I didn't even have one. By the time 15 minutes comes along, I'm like, shit, I had to get my phone out, hold that up instead with the original one with the ringtone. I've got to say though, the one with the ringtone is brilliant because you can imagine the amount of noise that would create if a good number of people had that.
Yeah, definitely.
It would be great.
Yeah, I think there was a lot in the. Here we go. What's this? In block 7, I think has the highest win. He does. Sorry, I thought you meant right. Yesterday, just some credit. I think there was a lot of cards. Oh, El Chico, who's usually in the chat, bumped into him yesterday, and I think he was in block 132 or 140. Anyway, it was that block that ended up having quite a lot of cards down that end, and he immediately called over a few mates, and they took some cards and went in there. And I think that they did a good job in getting those cards around. So good to meet you, El Chico.
He's in the chat. He's there. Yeah, fair play. Yeah, fair
110. 110, yeah. Thanks for that yesterday. Nice guy, actually. Nice guy. Met his aunt as well. Auntie. Yeah. He said it's my auntie. Hello, auntie. So yeah. But no, it's good to meet people like that. Thanks for coming out the blue, mate, because I was struggling there. I had, I don't know how many I had strapped to my body like Semtex, but quite a few, and put it like that. Right.
Brilliant.
Take off the one that was closest to my body when I took them off inside, obviously.
Oh, man. God.
It was a little bit moist, to say the least.
Oh, you don't want to be saying that, mate. No one wants one of your red cards anymore if you're handing out sweaty cards from your underpants. Yeah. Oh, my God, yeah.
But no, El Chico, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for all your help. Brilliant. That was a very timely intervention by you. You can buy a red card. The brighter, the better. The bigger, the brighter, the better. They're bound to be searching for red cards, so you need to store it down your pants or something, obviously, next time.
Yeah, make sure it don't turn into a brown card, though, Gary. That's the most important thing.
Make sure. Yeah. Right. But nonetheless, look, it was a good day, and this little red card thing, that was day one of many. We're just going to target it 15 minutes every game, and we want it accompanied with fuck off, Brady and Sulli. Where's our fucking money? It's all lies. Come on, Chris. It's all lies. Like, Chris, come on.
No, you're the karaoke voice around here. Oh, I'll save it for games, mate. I'll tell you actually what I did have yesterday, where I was where I stood my usual seat. Tourists. Like there was a lot of tourists yesterday. There was a lot of people that don't typically have. Oh yeah, there was loads. I had a bunch of them, and they seemed very pleasant because they were being quite noisy. They were Italians. Italians. There was about five Italians next to us, and they weren't speaking any English. They were like cursing in Italian, right?
Excellent.
They also managed to get a souvenir from the Solish Bowl. They got themselves a match ball because, as I said in that video, when Callum Wilson took that shot, which went flying over the crossbar. If you watch the video, like I haven't actually seen the highlights, but it literally was coming straight towards my head. And then Fred stuck his hand out, saved me, and then the Italian geezer took it off me. But it felt like being around I felt like I was in like some kind of Italian kind of opera with all these Italian people around me. It was very, very odd, very odd. I must say it was a bit frustrating because.
Bit racist, if you don't mind me saying, but
what's racist?
They're not all into opera, are they? No,
it just felt like it. I had a feeling that they could sing quite well, mate. It's just all I'm saying. But it was weird though because a lot of people didn't turn up for that game yesterday. I think they just flogged their tickets on because I looked on the old ticket groups on Facebook and stuff, and loads of people were literally trying to give them away. I mean, this is where we're at right now. I know it's Christmas and everything else.
Can I just intervene? Just used to be what you saying, DBU saying now. Gary Chris would like to give you a big thanks for helping me through a hard time. Had all the bad news, all good now. Thanks for cheering me up. Love streams, mate. Yeah, no, our pleasure. That's what we're here for. Try to, but no, glad everything's taking a bit of an uptick.
Yeah, good news. Good news.
About time. So, what we got here? So go ahead, carry on, Chris. Go on.
I don't know what I was talking about. I was talking about Tally. No, it was yeah, I don't know where all the, why there were so many people. There was a lot of empty seats yesterday, actually. There was.
They're virtually giving these seats away, which makes it a bit silly to even bother buying a season ticket next year if they're going to sell our tickets for 15 quid. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's frustrating. Yeah.
In the Bobby Moore, you'll pay 35, 40 for them, right? And they're selling them for 15.
I know.
Really?
I know. Yeah, no, he said disgrace, which is, they don't care, mucking other fans off, season ticket holders. The one upside of all of this stuff, right? And I know if what I think is the inevitable is going to happen and we go down, I think what you will find is that a lot of the tourists won't want to be coming to West Ham anymore. You'll find the real West Ham supporters that will stick by the club and they'll continue to go. And then maybe, just maybe, there will be more of an atmosphere at that ground with less people. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. In fact, I think there will be. Yeah. I think there will be, actually. Yeah.
I think Brian, there's a few comments here. Brighton's a must-win game, says Randy. Brian says, let's get it correct. We're not in a relegation fight. We're relegated. Well, not yet. It depends on that, and it depends on Wolves next Saturday, which I'm unfortunately going to, and then it depends on Forest.
Oh, yeah, the Forest game is massive, but you can't even. I think you just got to focus on the next game against Brighton. That's must-win 3 points, as is the Wolves game. But I think right now, 3 points against Brighton. I mean, if we lose against Brighton and we just beat Wolves, that's not enough. We need points from both of those games. We do. We need to get as close as we possibly can do to that 20-point mark ASAP. That is absolutely imperative. I couldn't give a toss about the QPR game, by the way. I was having this conversation with my boy yesterday, and he said, I like a good cup run. I said, honestly, right now, we all like a good cup run, but the reality is we ain't going to get any far. We're not going to get far if we actually beat QPR anyway, are we? But then he said, yeah, but don't forget, Dad, Coventry got to the semis and so and so. I was like, yeah, I get you. But, I mean, I don't know. Winning the FA Cup and going down, I think that's going to happen, by the way.
Honestly, I'd take it. But,
I think we'll go down anyway, so I'll take the FA Cup with us as well,
Yeah, I do think we're going back to what I said earlier. We are in money trouble if we go down. And there's going to have to be some really... They are going to sell everything that moves that's got a value. And I don't want to see that happen. But unless he moves quickly in the transfer market, finds some fucking money from somewhere, right? Does some transactions early. If he waits until the end of the window for a couple of cheap loans, we can only assume he ain't trying very hard to keep us up.
No. Who would you sell? Who would you sell in January? I don't know if we had this conversation
before. I'd sell Paqueta because he's no use to man or beast at the moment. I mean, he played a few free balls yesterday for Jared, but he gave the ball away a ton as well. Yeah. And to be honest, we're not going to win games with that tactic, with the free ball to Jared and rely on a foot race with Jared. It's not going to work.
Gary, one assist in what? I think, was it the 23-24 season or something? Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. One assist in that period of games, right? So I think, actually, we do need to sell Paqueta, providing we actually get a decent amount of money for him that we can reinvest and buy another player, a striker, someone with a bit more potency up front, because Lucas Paqueta doesn't offer that for us right now. He's not a striker, and at the moment, like you said, he's losing the ball too frequently. He's not on song. So I don't really see the point of having a luxury player like Lucas Paqueta in a relegation dogfight. We need fighters, mate. We need fighters that are going to go out there, like I said the other week, that are going to battle right to the very end. And I just don't think we got that with Lucas Paqueta. I don't. So I'd agree with you. Sell him and sell some of the other crap that we've got sitting on the bench if we can get anything for it. Guido Rodriguez, he can go as well. I'm sick of the sight of that fella. I don't even know why he's even in the squad, mate, let alone on the bench. Don't get it. Particularly when you've got youngsters that you could probably stick on there, or Luis Guilherme. Just players who are a bit more attack-minded than fucking Guido Rodriguez.
Apparently,
no sense.
Apparently Guilherme's on his way, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but we move off of PSR next season anyway. It's a different set of measurements. And we're nowhere near saturated on that, apparently. If we lose to Wolves, not being horrible, we deserve to go. Yeah, we do. It's the same. Look, if we lose any of these next 3 games, you could arguably say we deserve to go down.
Yeah, right? And there's every chance of that happening, by the way, with Wolves. I mean, they played Liverpool, didn't they, yesterday? And they only narrowly lost out. Yeah, they narrowly lost 2-1.
Fighting them, don't they? They all look like they're ready. They're up for it. We don't.
No. Well, look, I'm looking at some of the games here, right? So Forest, they only lost 2-1 to City, but they gave it a good go. Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't give it a good go against City.
We rolled over, didn't we?
We did.
Rolled over.
Then you look. I mean, honestly, I just can't. Even today I watched the Leeds Sunderland game. They gave it a good go as well. They got the equaliser in Calvert-Lewin. I'll tell you again, this is as madness as it sounds. I'd much rather I'd welcome Calvert-Lewin in our team right now.
Yeah.
You know, I would. I actually would.
I would as well. I think, going back to who we would sell, I think he's disposable at the moment. I think that Nuno has got an unhealthy fixation on Paqueta being Mr. Brilliant, Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah,
you know, because he ain't.
What? Right? Yeah, he's kind of put it out there so many times now, and I just think, well,
our genius, you know, fucking genius.
We really need him in the team. We really well. Why do we really need him in the team? I'll be more happy to see, you know, Fernandes playing slightly further forward. I would. I'd like to see him further forward and maybe playing Potts and Magassa, maybe in that kind of deep line central midfield pairing, right?
Yes.
And then actually having a striker up front.
This is true, by the way. If this is the exit strategy, and I've got no reason to think it isn't the exit strategy, to strip it down for spare parts and then leave in a pile of crumbs, because that is what they did with Birmingham. They left their stadium, that part of it was uninhabitable. That's how much they neglected that club, right? Mm-hmm. It was in such a bad way. And then they shoved it off to some convicted fraudster and got investigated over it, right? So, yeah, they do not spend money unless there's a return on that investment. They're doing nothing for love or reputation or anything. Don't misunderstand his intent here. If there's a way that he can save his investment, I don't think there is, because it will take huge investment to save the value of his asset. So I think what he'll do is strip that asset down for spare parts while he can. So he might just let it fall into administration once he's taken all he can. Who knows? Time will tell. But yeah. And you know, that'd be a kick in the nuts, wouldn't it? But it'd be almost inevitable. And I wonder if Karen Brady will probably get another Woman of the Year, Business Woman of the Year award off the back of it for doing such a fantastic job.
Don't give a toss. Oh, that comment you got there about Brighton recalling Ferguson. Apparently, Brighton are looking at recalling Igor as well.
He's doing well over at where he's gone, isn't he, Ferguson?
I don't know about that. I know he started all right in pre-season. Yeah. I'm not sure how well he's doing at the moment, to be honest with you. But like I said, you know, we could be another defender down if they recall Igor. Not that it makes a difference, because the geezer's not getting any minutes anyway.
This is what I hope. And these people, you just got to keep believing. You know, people who say they're not going anywhere, what are you doing it for? They will. They're going, right? You just got to get on the train and fucking be patient. Ain't going to happen in a week. Will happen, though. When they go, we will get a lot of those old school supporters back, even though that place is a fucking shithole, right? And it won't be the end game. Definitely won't be the end game. We'll want to be moving from there at some point. But you'll definitely see, once the shadow of those tossers has disappeared from the place, you'll see some people come back. Because if you think about it, it's equivalent, you know, when people say, oh, I'll give up supporting Man United, I go and support, what's it called, AFC, whatever. You know, it's the same sort of thing. When your club is on hard times like that, that's time for people to get on board and help.
I think so.
They're dead, isn't it?
I saw something on, I think it was like a caller on TalkSport, and it popped up on my feed earlier on today. And this fella phoned up, and he was obviously massively irate, like we all are right now. But he said something like, you know, if West Ham go down, I'm not going to go back. It's like, well, you won't go back just because we've gone down. Like, is that your sole reason of not going back again? Exactly.
Yeah, you're not a supporter. Yeah. And anyone who makes Premier League a condition of supporting their club, well, they're not really a supporter of that club. You're just a tourist. You're a day tripper. Yeah. So anyway, we got anything else? It's been an intense show tonight, isn't it? Let's go through the comments, Chris. Let's see what people. I mean, we've been keeping.
I've got a few here. Like Danny Boy in the chat. Daichi doesn't seem as bad now as we've seen Nuno.
No, he doesn't. And it's sad though, Danny, that we end up looking through it through that lens, right? Because we know what Dyche is. We didn't want him. I still don't want him. But you end up saying, oh, he's not as bad as what we got. And it's like, careful what you wish for with Moyes. A lot of people didn't want him here anymore because of the brand of football. But we didn't ask for way, way inferior managers to replace him, did we?
No, we didn't. That's what, you know, I'm going to bring it up because it's always being brought up on social media and also quite frequently in these comment sections on my TikTok account as well about, oh, you're the same lot that wanted Moyes out and everything else. Yeah, do you know what, right? We didn't want Lopetegui, we didn't want Potter, and we didn't want Nuno, okay? Yeah. So the common theme here is that there's one person that fucking did employ these people that we did not want, and that's Sullivan and Brady, right? So I'm sick and tired of hearing that shit. You know, I really, really am.
I agree. And look, we're entitled to, as people who pay to watch football and go along and watch games, even people who sit at home and pay to watch football at home, right? You're entitled to have a comment, have a. Not everyone's built the same. Not everybody enjoys the same stuff, right? One person will find, it's subjective. One person will find entertainment in a boring 0-0 game because of great defending. Other people will send them to sleep.
Yeah,
right?
We've had loads of disagreements on this over the last, for a long time now. Sometimes you've enjoyed it, and I've been like, no, that has been absolutely dross.
You are allowed. You are allowed to have that opinion, and West Ham fans, I think it was a majority, just about, of people who wanted Moyes out, because there were plenty who supported him to the bitter end and still do. But nonetheless, it was everybody's right, and it's the most fucking wanker thing to do to say, oh, you should have stuck with Moyes. I know we were allowed an opinion, right, and we were allowed to expect the club to go out and hire something better, something capable. I'm
tired of repeating myself. I'm tired of, not just me, but all West Ham fans that actually, did want Moyes out, of repeating ourselves again and again and again that Moyes took West Ham as far as he possibly could do. And when he left, he had an aging squad that was just literally on its knees. So, people seem to forget all of this kind of stuff. They seem to forget that we nearly got relegated as well. They seem to forget all this stuff under Moyes.
It was a great run, but it became great during COVID. And afterwards, right? We didn't get to Europe before COVID. Lingard had that amazing season during COVID with no crowds, right? Moyes' first stint, his stats were about the same as Potter, right? 1.2, I think, points per game. He ended up 1.5 points per game, 1.53. But anyway, he was a good manager for most of the time he was here in the second stint for sure. And you could say saved us in the first stint. But if I remember rightly, he didn't do any better than Slaven would have. Points for games, right?
He had the same points ratio, roughly, give or take, that Village did as well. Yeah, you're right.
His record is better than all of this last lot together, right? 1.46 or something points per game.
Yeah.
Right. So where could we? But look, there are two things. Number one, priority one, get rid of these Muppets. When they're gone, we need a new stadium, right? And we must demand a new stadium. Doesn't really matter when or where, as long as it's a thing. And it's in the planning and it's going to happen. Or the owners are looking at it. What's viable, Because I think the most viable solution would be to knock that thing down, get some sort of deal where you knock that stadium down and you build one on half of the footprint there, which would be the size of the Emirates, believe it or not, and then develop the rest of it.
Mate, I'll take Dagenham and Redbridge's ground over this shithole. Truthfully, I'm not even joking. I have this conversation frequently with Fred. Like, even when I was up at Colchester to watch the youngsters play the other week, I said to some of the boys there, "Would you take this over our ground?" They're like, it would be a consideration. Because I was. It pains me every time I walk back from that stadium after another defeat, and I turn around and I walk over the bridge. That last image I had on that video that you showed earlier of the London Stadium, it looks great, right, from a distance, but it is not a football stadium. It's not a football stadium. It's horrific. It's so bad. And honestly, what I would give to get up to Bartback again, I know it ain't going to happen and everything else, but it's so destroying when you see that and what we're being served up week in, week out, where we are in the league, all of these fucking promises that the board gave to us. I mean, seriously, it's absolutely disgraceful. These fuckers should be banged up for what they've done to West Ham. They should be, let alone anything else they've been up to. I'm sick and tired of it all, Gal. I really am, honestly.
I don't see why we couldn't. I don't know whether it was Nigel who suggested this or something once, but in that, where the Thames Ironworks was in that just right on the Thames, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Because what basically Everton did was they built a dry dock, didn't they? Built out into the it was into the Mersey, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was there. I went to that game. I've seen Everton's new ground, and it's a bit weird, the surroundings, but it's a fantastic football stadium. I'll tell you that much. It's it's probably one of the best that I've been to. It's really good.
Can't we go back to our roots and do a dry dock around the old Thames Ironworks on the, backing onto the Thames? That'd be fucking cool, wouldn't it?
I think there's always things that we can do, right? Yeah. Nothing's out of the realms of possibility, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to money and how much owners want to make significant change, positive change at West Ham United. If they do, then I think there's, it's all on the table, mate. Things can happen, but we've got owners that don't really give a toss. And that's really what it comes down to. Hence the reason why we protest so badly about getting these fuckers out of West Ham. We don't want them anymore. We don't.
Well, I think it's a hard.
Never wanted him in the first place. Not anymore. Never wanted him in the first place.
Let me just try and convince Dale here, right? You didn't choose to have the stadium taken away from you. That was essentially stolen from us as football fans. Now, what gives me hope is Brighton, and they They were at the Withdean before, which was like a council athletics track. It's fucking not suitable for any form of Premier League football. They must have been on, and I went to the old Goldstone ground years ago. It wasn't great, but it was a proper ground, right? It was a proper ground. Got wet, got soaked, got beat. Normal away day for West Ham. But this is, they had the right to hope. And eventually someone good came along. He built them something nice, and now they're flourishing, being run well. We should be able to wish for that as well. Why should we not wish for that? Surely we should. Why should we not? Why should we just accept that this is forever? Because I can't fucking accept this is another 90 years.
No, God, no. It can't. It can't be. There needs to be change. I mean, there's no way. I don't think we survive as a football club in that bowl. I don't. Not if it's not made significant changes to it.
This is another one as well, which was one of our old grounds, the Memorial Grounds. I don't know if he's got a big enough footprint there. Probably has on the big park, actually, isn't it? But you know, that sort of stuff. There is ways to do it in East London, but the easiest thing is without football in that stadium falls to pieces, rack and ruin. So you might as well tear the bloody thing down. What are you going to start it up for athletics once a year and a few concerts? Of course you're not. So I would say level the thing, sell off half the land, and use the profit from that to build a new stadium. It wouldn't be £1 billion stadium, as Simon Jordan said, because we wouldn't be building a fucking sliding pitch in and out, right? We'd be building a purpose-built football stadium. I don't care about
we don't need something with all the bells and whistles, mate. We don't need that.
I don't want abseiling. I don't want a go-kart track underneath. That is not essential for me. I don't need an NFL pitch to be slid in and out. But I tell you what, if they did build Tottenham's ground on that location, it would be Tottenham might as well give up and go home, because that is in a far, far better location. Tottenham, they might have built it in the same place. It's still a hole, isn't it?
No, it is, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But look, there are ways of doing it. All I'm saying is this: you're right as fans. It's my right as a fan. Chrissy's right as a fan. So just fucking demand a ground. We need our own ground. Why shouldn't we have it? Why does Simon Jordan suddenly think we can't ask for that? Fuck off, Simon.
Oh, let's not talk about that Muppet anymore, please. He just winds me up.
Yeah. I was also not happy with Nuno's post-match yesterday, where he didn't really try to help Skulls in any way with the words he said.
I didn't watch it. I haven't watched any of it. I've not watched anything West Ham related since yesterday because I just didn't want to. But what's the point? Honestly, what's the point? It's the same old Josh. We're again and again and again. Repetitive BS, cliche, post-match flipping interviews. I just can't be bothered to hear it anymore, Gary.
Oh, no. They all turn into it, don't they? They all turn into cliche-ridden nonsense, don't they?
It's such nonsense, isn't it? Yeah. I just want people to speak the truth. I'm sick and tired. Yeah, we go again next week. We're going to get back down to the training pitch. We're going to work on it. Our next focus is this game. Our next focus is this game. Nuno is like a broken record right now. He's saying it every single week. We must focus on the next game. We can't look at these other games. We focus on the next game. We prepare, blah, blah, blah. I'm not seeing any change.
You cannot see it for a long time. Nobody's coming in spending $5 million on the club and another. Look, you don't just spend money on a stadium and that's it. It's gone. It's dead money. That's an investment. Look at Spurs. That stadium generates, Arsenal have more than broken even on their build already, right? Several years later. Tottenham are generating shitloads in that place because there's not only all the stuff I just described, there's all the corporate facilities as well. We've got hardly any in the stadium.
Do you know the funny thing about it is there are Tottenham fans that are really, really not happy with their stadium, which makes me laugh.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it ain't just spunking money. It ain't just spent $1 billion on Spurs' stadium. If there wasn't a plan to recoup that investment, they wouldn't have spent it.
Yep.
So it ain't generosity. No billionaire or zillionaire is generous with their money. They always want to return. That includes on buying West Ham, and that includes on any ground that was built. But you can look at what the geezer's doing at Birmingham. Do you think there's a worse business case for us than Birmingham City? I think not. Dyche doesn't have his own players. He don't need them. He just forms his own players out of moulds and nails. Don't he?
He does. No, he's done a job there. You can't. Credit where it's due. He's come in and he's done a very good job so far. Yeah. Hopefully, not too good a job, and he, starts losing some games. Certainly the one against us that we've got in a few weeks' time. But he's done a good job, and I would have had him over Nuno. In truth, in hindsight,
in hindsight for sure. Looking at this, I think this is true, and this is what you got to think when you say we can't do this and we can't do that. someone won't pay this, someone won't pay that. People do pay this stuff, right? Even Luton are getting a fucking magnificent stadium.
Yeah, I mean that comment there about we stay at the stadium, we fade and die. It's not just about staying at that stadium. We continue with these owners, we fade and die, which is proving to be what's happening right now. Like I said earlier on, Gal, West Ham is being stripped away. Every single game that I go to, I feel like another piece of West Ham is dying. That's how I feel.
Yeah, Simon Jordan is a tit. I mean, in hindsight, looking back at Dan's interview with him, I thought Dan got treated harshly there because literally all he said is he wanted our own ground, which is exactly what I'm saying. And the question is, if Simon says you can't have it because it will cost him, I just say, well, what right have you got to declare that West Ham fans cannot have their own ground or wish for one?
Yeah, let's not talk about him anymore, Gal. Please, I'm sick and tired of that guy. I really am. I can't bear to listen to him, let alone see his face. I just can't.
I'd go for that. What I'd do is if I had a blank piece of paper, I would build Upton Park again on a bigger scale with steeper banks.
Oh man, can you imagine? Can you imagine if we had something close to what we had? But that's the problem. We never will, Gary. We never will because it was about the area. It was everything about the place.
Yeah.
It's just it can't be. It's just a pipe dream, unfortunately.
No, it can be. It can be. I mean, look, Everton have moved from their ground, which I'm never particularly keen on Goodison, but they loved it. Their home and everything. But the new stadium they've moved into is marvellous, right? It's a really nice stadium, so we can move to something like that.
Yeah, great stadium. But my point being is, though, Gal, it's also about the area, the surroundings. It's about all the pre-match stuff, the walks to the ground, Barking Road, Pie and Mash, the bowling, all that stuff. The community, everything around Upton Park. Down Green Street, Barking Road, everything around it. That you can't replicate that shit again. That you're talking about hundreds, over 100 years of history there, right?
You're
so
right.
That's the difference.
You're right, but there is a chance if you move into the middle of a residential area other than a business area where we are at the moment, if you move into the middle of a residential area, that sort of stuff will build up over time.
Yeah, which is why I like the walk to the ground where I go the opposite way, where I walk through the shitty part of Stratford because I actually feel like I'm going to a football game then. You know what I'm talking about when you come from the old Stratford side and you walk underneath the bridge and all that sort of stuff, right? That's a hell of a lot better than walking through the flipping shopping mall and then walking away, on that lovely, clean fucking walk to the stadium. I hate all of that.
This is someone trying to break my heart. Martin Hard's 411. We were closer to the pitch at the Withdean. Oh, fucking hell. That is a shot to the gut. That is. The boys are working hard. It is true. They are working hard. Apart from a few of the senior pros who I think could work a bit harder.
They are working hard. I must say, yeah. I would agree with that comment. I thought yesterday they were putting in the effort. But
especially
one thing,
midfield three, right? The midfield three are working their combined collective bollocks off.
They were, but one thing that I maybe I'm picking at bones here a little bit here, but I did feel that they looked knackered right after a little while. And I think, are some of these players fit enough? Are they actually fit enough to compete in 90 minutes?
I know. They do run out of steam at about 80.
Yeah, I know. And that's worrying. That is worrying. Because it was, I think even Potsy looked a little bit knackered. He did as well. And he's only a youngster. As you say, the midfield trio, they did look very, very tired. I thought KWP looked pretty tired. I thought Bowen looked very tired. Almost from the duration of the game. He just weren't on it yesterday.
Let's dream. Let's get a picture of the old bulletin. How it was supposed to be finished. Yeah. Because you were supposed to put the stand on to replace the chicken run and bring it all in close again. Use that as a template and design from there. Never ever bring back those fucking Lego castles out the front, right? I want metallic shiny castles in future. Right. No Legoland. Right, so bang on, Chris. It was the area that against CAF and the working man's. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If it was in a residential area, that kind of stuff could sprout up again, and it would over time for sure. We walk from Hackney. I like Hackney. £3 for a hot dog. I paid 11 quid for a chicken burger yesterday in that ground.
And it's tiny as well, isn't it? I've bought one from there before. It's ridiculous. Nothing to it. Yeah.
Chris went there. He liked Everton's ground. Yes.
Yeah, it's a lovely ground. I was jealous. I was really jealous of it when I went in there. I think Everton have got a problem with their atmosphere, but that's normal when you move into a new stadium. But I'll tell you one thing: when Everton actually start singing, eventually, and I'm not sure. I've not been to the other games. I only went to the West Ham one, but I'll tell you what: that stadium can contain an atmosphere completely the opposite of ours. It's built for that very reason. It's built as a football stadium. And
It takes years for a crowd to move in, especially when it's a bigger crowd, and then to assimilate to their various places where they can end up feeling comfortable. And then I suppose the singing and everything starts from there. To start with, I know they do their best to move people into the same areas, but it's never the same.
No, it's not. And I do, like I say, the Everton ground, I've got to go back to, because I genuinely liked it there. I thought I liked the stadium, and when there was noise, it just felt quite electric in there. It's quite frightening to see the potential what Everton could be if they get all of their fans singing that. Not all of them, but if you just get the kind of atmosphere and they get it right, as you say, if people are in the right places, all the singing sections and everything else, that stadium will be like a fortress for them. I think it's a great stadium, and if I was an Everton fan, I'd be over the moon with that stadium. I really would.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think I'll go now. I'm not calling this Thames Ironworks. That's as bad as West Ham Ozempic. Was it sponsored? I
don't think it will ever get as bad as West Ham Olympic, mate. I disagree on that front. I'd want to call it West Ham United, but West Ham Olympic's a piss take. And you've seen that stuff with the new badge as well. They're talking about.
Well, it's funny they've introduced that in the minute where it looks like we're getting relegated. Eh?
I know. Yeah, because it's not really tourist friendly, then, is it?
Like a castle. Put a castle on the badge, Karen. Fucking idiot. All right. I wish
I drove into the side of his car when I was driving past him the other week. I really do. I was actually just going past, the river, and I just thought, man, can you imagine that? I might have been a bit of trouble for that, but God, man.
Yeah, you're just a little bit, Chris, just a little bit. Really.
Just a bad driver, just a bad driver.
Mate. Dog every week, and he's a West Ham fan. I highly recommend you. You have to tell me where the £3 is. I come and get 30 quid of them. I get 10 of them.
I've not seen anything that cheap around the ground. Jesus, £3 for an hot dog. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Right, let's call it a day, Chris.
That
was a thing. That joke. It was like Karen denied taking any weight loss drugs. It was all down to hard work losing that weight. And someone very quick commented, "Well, rumor has it she's turned down an offer to call us to rename us as West Ham Ozempic."
Look, just before we go, I've got to show you this. It's quite funny. My old man gave me this. It's actually very thin. I think I might stick it behind me here. I might actually put it up there because it's. Oh man, I am really grumpy at the moment. Everyone's saying to me that I'm grumpy at the moment. I am grumpy, and it's hard. I admit I am grumpy.
I'm grumpy too. What the hell?
Oh no, it's a tough time. It's a tough time, and I don't know. I feel like I'm resigned to relegation, but.
I think the trouble is, right, it don't know where you're at. When you go to games, I don't keep on going about going to games. It does make you special to go to games, but it does take a lot more effort than turning the telly on, right? So it takes hours out of the day. So yesterday was a long day, left home at 12, got back about 6:30. And now today you're sort of thinking, do a show tonight. We've got to relive yesterday.
I know.
It's fine once you start doing these shows because it becomes like therapy after a while, and it's good to talk to you lot and everything else. But the thought of doing it, sometimes you're thinking, oh God,
I said to you before. Did I say to you before we started this, Gary? I said I can't do this tonight. I just can't do this.
Every bad moment, if you think about it, we've got to live twice. Everyone on YouTube, we've got to live it twice. Every good moment, we can live it 3 times, 4 times. We can live off a good game for a couple of days, can't we?
Yeah, but those moments are few and far between, mate. When was the last time we were able to relive good moments 3, 4, 5 times?
I ain't done that for a while, have we?
No, we haven't. It is genuinely really, really tough. It's very, very hard.
Yeah. Mark, she won't be here for very much longer. Don't worry about that. Leeds fan in peace. Listen, we don't have a go at opposition fans in here. You're too good for us at the moment. Looking at your fixtures, winnable games for you lot, even though you're playing poor at the moment. Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we peaked against Burnley or Newcastle. We peaked against Newcastle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did we peak? I mean, you call that a peak? I don't know.
I don't even know the words of bubbles, especially the Chinese people in front of me who turned up for the day.
Oh, really? Did you have that yesterday?
Elvis is somewhere in the building yesterday, and I always get hopeful when he walks in. I always just think we have a better record when he's in the building. But no, he's had a miserable season, just like me. Right,
it's like us collectively. All of us have had a bloody miserable season, miserable couple of seasons.
But let's talk about. Look, we're a few days away from the great year 2026, and it needs to be a great year because 2025 has been a bit crap. Yeah. So let's get our spirits and our hopes up for 2026 and a resurgent West Ham, starting with a magnificent away win to Wolves after we beat Brighton 4-0 at home on Tuesday.
You're right. You're feeling all right there, Gal. You just what's happened?
Listen, it's nearly a new year. We've got to get hopeful. A couple of days later, we can stop being hopeful again. But let's start out hopeful. We've got to start out.
You got it, right? Yeah, you got it, mate. Yeah, of course you do.
So, Happy New Year. Thanks for all your watching of our shows this year and all your support of the channel and everything else. It's been really nice of you. Look forward to doing it again in 2026. And wish you all of you have a great New Year's Eve. Get too drunk, eat too much, have a hangover. What about you, Chris?
Well, what am I doing for New Year?
A few words from you?
Oh, a few words from me. No. Just again, I'll kind of repeat what you just said. Thank you to everyone that's been part of the channel, because you are a part of the channel. I know we say it on our outro, but you are genuinely a part of the channel. Without you, there is no channel. Look, I mean, I think what you said earlier on about this kind of being like therapy sometimes, it actually is. You know, when you're going through a tough time, it's great that you actually talk with like-minded West Ham fans that are also going through the same shit that you are. You know, we're not the only ones. It's genuinely, I'm not going to say always a pleasure doing this because I'd be lying. It's not always a pleasure at all. And sometimes it's a real fucking grind, but it does make it easier when you get good people, good people in the chat that are part of this channel. And I appreciate every one of you, to be honest with you. I do. You get the odd twat. Not going to lie. There is the odd twat in there. You probably know who you are as well. You know, there is the odd twat. But, honestly, I think we've got a really good bunch in this channel. And I know you, myself and Claire have spoken about this on many, many occasions. I think we've got a really good community of people that watch this channel, and it's great. So thank you to you all. Happy New Year to you all. Let's just hope that 2026 is a happy and healthy one for you first and foremost, but also that West Ham stay in the Premier League would be good. That's all I hope for.
And thanks to all the people who've come on and helped us as well, us too. So we've got Martin's on here all the time. Danny has been on a couple of times. Peter's been on a few times. So thanks to you. And just big thanks. Happy New Year. And should we go out? Since it's Christmas time, we can only play this twice, this thing. Right? If you enjoyed what we said the other night, which was, what's it called? I've got the name written down this time. And it's called Worrying About the Cost of Going Down.
I knew it. It has to be shared again.
David
it's too good.
David Gold. Until next time, Happy New Year. Now Christmas is done. Come on, your hands.
Hey Goldie, I'm desperately worried about relegation. Do you have a Christmas singing on to cheer us up?
The fans can play,
but we're not listening.
But they want change,
but we're resisting.
The club's got no fight.
We won't sleep tonight.
Worried about the cost of going down.
Wave away all the tourists.
Here to stay are the purists, the fans that we know.
But they spend less dough. Oh, I'm worried about the cost of going down. Come the new year, I could be a hero. Stooges linking us to every name. We could sell a star for some dinero.
To loan the flop that never gets a game.
The soulless bowl will be empty. There'll be spaces aplenty.
They'll be rattling around in your lousy ground.
Oh, I'm worried about the cost of going down. Or can we charm the fans with singing sections, with flags and tifos lifted over heads, renew rivalries of great affection,
while Millwall tears the stadium to shreds.
Oh, I really haven't thought this through, have I? What are we gonna do?
The fans can play.
I'm still not listening.
They want change.
We're still resisting.
But they'll keep up the fight.
Well, I'll hold on tight, but I'm worried about the cost of going down. Yes, I'm worried about the cost. And I'm worried about the loss. Yes, I'm worried about the cost of going down.
Can't Karen pull her finger out, Dave?
Don't be daft, she only works Thursdays and Fridays.